corners of our world.
Thanks a lot. We are so happy to have you today. We are so happy to have this chance to talk to you, to the expert of this debt collection industry. And we are excited to have this discussion. Our episode today is shaped by the insights of our diverse audience, including representatives from banks, non-bank lenders, and third-party collectors. They've raised compelling questions about the intersection of AI and debt collection. Hope to get you very tasty and comprehensive answers to these pressing queries. And before we come to the main part, could you share with our attendees little about your professional background?
Okay, well, thank you for that. I'm a Filipino, born and raised in the Philippines. So, well, I feel it's kind of like surprising to have this discussion with you, and also for me to be having this opportunity. My background is in civil engineering, and fortunately, I was able to develop a keen interest in call center technologies early in my career. So that was just like when I was still 22. So I bootstrap. So I wouldn't be mentioning my age if that's fine with you. So maybe the audience can just guess. So I bootstrapped my first call center operation when call center was still a new thing here in the Philippines. But I was one of the very first to basically bootstrap that technology in the basement of my parents' house and started to explore that technology and creating a contact center in the basement of my parents' house. It
Wow.
was actually quite distinct at that time because you only get to hear about VoIP technology with the large call center firms coming from the US, from America. And I was able to find a way to use it for like a very small business project of mine when I was still younger. And then eventually came the opportunity, maybe after doing like 5 years of a lot of informal contact center ventures, there came an opportunity with me and my father, who's a litigation lawyer for the banks, to start an outsourced collection work for the financial institutions here in the Philippines way back 2008. And that was the starting point of the roughest periods of my life because I didn't know at that time that collections industry in the Philippines is very brutal. It's a
Mhm.
I hope our clients doesn't kill me for this, but it's a no cure, no pay, low margin, high volume industry. But think about it. All of its challenges has its equal amount of benefits. You get to learn to be very creative about entrepreneurship, and also you get to learn business survival in this kind of situation, which is very unique. There's no such thing as getting money from fundraising money to operate this business. So everything was really bootstrapped deeply in our pockets when we didn't have any money to grab in our pockets. So we were just like making it work, try to be very creative with our finances and with our operation. So we get to learn the ability to scale fast, maintain efficiency, and without compromising all the regulatory compliances of the banks.
I see. Thank you very much. And sorry to interrupt you, Ian. Your business path is
For
super
sure.
dynamic. It sounds really challenging and at the same time exciting. And how is it going now? What are your plans for the upcoming years, especially talking about this scaling ambitious?
Well, that's actually a very good question. So, historically, so it's funny because historically here in the Philippines, we've witnessed the entire transformation of the collection industry in the Philippines, and even the transformation of the country as a whole. As you know, Philippines is an emerging country, so we really came from everybody here almost came from poor backgrounds,
Mm-hmm,
and then everything was loosely regulated at the very start. And
mm-hmm,
there was even a joke I mean right now, but it was a joke that everyone is talking
mm-hmm,
about in the industry, that you can do a flying kick on somebody's gate before. So that
mm-hmm.
was like so it was just like a way of saying like how loosely unregulated the entire collection industry back then. But right now it's a very competitive, highly regulated, competitive space now. And just to brag a little bit, we are approaching our 16th year, and in
Mm-hmm.
our own unique way, we've evolved remarkably compared to all of our competitors. And we grew from a 50 square meter office back then with only four collectors at the very start. And now we are massively at 15,000 square meters with
And we can
over.
see it on the screen, right? The photos, like then and now. So many people are surrounding you at the moment and supporting this idea and your business values. It's fantastic.
Yeah, so we started with four, and now we're almost 2,000, and not only all over the Philippines. We've recently expanded to Singapore and Dubai. So considering that the entire healthy industry of collections is being participated by 300 collection agencies, we hold 7% of that market share. And just a little bit of information: Philippines has a 12.4 trillion dollar domestic credit, and the NPL ratio at its peak was 4.5% during the pandemic. And maybe in other parts of that 2 decade history, there was also other Asian recessions of the past, which kind of hit it at 4.5% to 5%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But because of the innovation and the competitiveness of the entire industry, we were able to lower it
Mm-hmm.
down at 1.8% to 2%
Mm-hmm.
years before the pandemic. Pandemic kind of pushed it back to 4.5%,
Mm-hmm.
which is not good, but it's also good for business because right at that time when the government allowed us to operate again for collections, it was one of our
Mm-hmm.
best years because of the entire accumulation of portfolio that we worked on right after. Currently, it's
Mm-hmm.
3.4%, and we strongly believe that by improving the collection infrastructure of the entire country as a whole, and our
Mm-hmm.
company, and using better technologies for the future, and having a large team of collectors across the country, which we are still working on, we can play a part in stabilizing the country's uh, economic growth of the Philippines. So that's like our ambition right now.
It's a very good ambition, I can say. And thanks, Ian. It's not easy to be just a good person, but you managed to combine even more besides that the qualities of a good businessman, a vice manager, and a team leader. I suppose that this allows you to see the financial market from numerous angles. Please share your opinion on the existing situation that collection and recovery in the Philippines, and what are the current challenges faced by banks and fintech there, and how AI can be integrated to address those challenges.
Well, the very good thing about here in the Philippines right now, because we are an emerging country,
Mhm,
the debt collection landscape is evolving rapidly. It's growing and also evolving rapidly,
mhm,
especially with the increasing interest in no cure, no pay models. Previously, in the past, it's all about, well, there are two kinds of business in in the collection industry. One would be the pay per seat, which
mhm,
the financial institutions pay fixed rate
mhm,
to basically have an agent, collection agent, seated
mhm,
down working on their accounts, which is normally for the early buckets of their business.
mhm,
And then the other side would be the no cure no pay model, which would be a little bit of a gamble for the agency who's providing the service.
mhm.
And at the same time, it might work on the benefit of the agency, because if it works, it's kind of like a percentage of that business. So no cure no pay model. So this shift has become uh, this shift has become very like interesting for the banks
Mhm.
lately, because they're seeing the results of that no cure no pay model without any risk on their, let's say, cash flows. And then we were able to leverage AI to enhance our decision making process. So when we have this accumulation of no cure no pay models on our side, we have to ensure that we are making the right decisions for every account, because we are the ones who's fronting the investment of working on that account. And if we collect zero, the banks wouldn't give us any commissions or payment if we are not producing any results. So this approach not only improves the recovery rates of our clients, but also helps us manage the financial risk associated with no cure, no pay models.
So it sounds like this no cure, no pay model is a real advantage of your business, of your service, and a real privilege for all who'd like to get connected to your services. Thanks a lot for sharing your opinion, Ian. I guess that this approach is logical. I mean, the approach of no cure, no pay, and promising for real world application and third party collection. By the way, as you may know, there are a lot of rumors around the debt collection industry. And have you heard this joke? Your life is too short to argue with a debt collector. It's really funny, yet awful when it comes to client service, really. I have known SP Madrid for many years, and your team is very polite and respectful in their approach to debt collection. Yet in the collection business, there is still a stereotype that debt collectors are uneducated people whose task is just to obtain payment for that at any cost, be it calling debtors at late at night, using manipulations and abusive techniques. As far as we know, regulators in many countries continue to introduce bans on abusive communication with debtors and the use of manipulation in debt collection. Violations of these rules and regulations are subject to high fine rates. Why do you think abusive behavior still exists in the collection industry? And in your opinion, how can the introduction of AI help collectors around the world increase the volume of returns without violating the norms of the local regulators?
Okay, that's actually a very good question and an absolutely fair question to ask. There's this saying in the collection industry that trying to reason with a debt collector is like trying to chat with a brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, this
Yeah.
brick wall, no matter how inanimate this brick wall is, it keeps on calling you even during dinner time. So, to address your question, the collection industry has traditionally been driven by a commission based, no cure, no pay approach. So, this often leads to basically making the collection agencies to be more aggressive in terms of
Mm-hmm.
producing results and sometimes even pushing the line of what's acceptable. And also, the performance based agencies have a strong mindset of not only delivering results but also dominating their competitors. It's really in their mindset. And this basically leads them to be more aggressive constantly because survival to perform and survival to outcompete is ingrained in their very DNA, because that's what the very nature of industry kind of creates for each and every one of us. So we firmly believe that the best collectors strike a fine balance between being persuasive and also respectful. Our future goal is to harness AI to analyze data from our top performing agents who have managed to become very effective without crossing any lines. And then obviously we would be gathering data points on that behavior and gather the data on their conversational flows, emotions, which is possible now, their tonality, and to devise a kind of science of that perfect agent, kind of like a Captain America version internally, but dissected and creating that data model that we can fed into the AI,
Mm-hmm.
into the future of our AI models. Now, this knowledge can then be used to retrain our workforce.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine this: there's a real-time AI assistance during calls,
Mm-hmm.
guiding our agents and steering them away from unproductive or emotionally charged discussions, which is very, very common. It's
Mm-hmm.
about elevating our negotiation tactics to an art form
Mm-hmm.
where every word is as carefully considered as a brush stroke on a canvas. So that's like our mindset on creating that perfect conversation on the phone. So it's possible to combine that perfect agent, dissect them, and then retrain the entire workforce based on that perfect agent.
Thanks a lot for your thoughts, and they're priceless, I guess, for our attendees and will be appreciated. We are receiving questions to our chat, and I hope and I'm sure that we'll be able to answer those questions. However, there is a very interesting question which is really connected to your latest feedback and insight on the debt collection industry. And if you don't mind, I'll ask you this question just to satisfy the need of our attendee. So regarding this one, shifting from a no collect, no pay arrangement to a paid use of AI contract can be understood to be expensive for the client. How have you navigated this when influencing use of AI rather than the more traditional voice calls?
Well, basically, AI is revolutionizing that collection by providing insights that allow for a more strategic approach, especially critically in the no cure no pay model. So I keep on repeating that because this model is very, very unique. So we use AI to analyze debtor behavior and predict
Mm-hmm.
recovery outcomes, which is very important. Now, this is essential for selecting the right accounts, the target approach enabled by the AI. So this enhances our operational efficiency, our success rates, and making us a strong contender in this evolving market.
Thanks a lot for this answer. I get we met the interest of our of our participant, right, in terms of the alternative of applying AI and how you can mitigate the risks, financial risks and repayment risks. It smells like your business model, no cure, no pay, is not just an obligation to comply with local debt collection regulations. It's a huge benefit for every company who'd like to use your services and get a real payback their debt portfolios. From my long experience in AI, I may say that it's really revolutionizing. So I agree with you. It's revolutionizing debt collection, making it more efficient and less daunting. In first-party collection, for instance, like banks, AI is used for predicting borrower risks even before a loan is issued. In third-party collections, AI is more about delicately balancing debt recovery with maintaining good relationships. That's what you were talking about a couple of minutes ago, right? And for debt buyers, AI is crucial for evaluating debt portfolios, predicting their profitability with a mix of financial insight and market understanding. In short, I may say that AI in debt collection is not just about collecting dues. It's about smart, intelligent, sensitive, and strategic engagement across various levels of the process. It's about making initial interactions less scary and more approachable. Ian, the fact that the leading third-party collector, SP Madrid, leverages AI for that data-driven decisions suggests a strong belief in AI's potential. Based on your experience, could you elaborate on how AI is contributing to debt collection strategies within the banking and fintech sectors?
Yeah, so as what I mentioned before, AI right now is currently, well, there's so many prototypes and simulations that we are currently doing in our company. And mainly the very objective are two parts. One would be the productivity and the other one would be on compliance. So there's so much thought and interest going on into these two space. And right now, I mean, both are very important, but we are very crucial in terms of implementing this in the compliance side of things. And having a third party, as a third party with the banks, it is very crucial more than ever to be more cautious because at the end of the day, this is not basically our business and their business is very much different. So we have to be very respectful of how they view AI initially and what scares them about this technology, but at the same time, giving them that big picture, broad picture of what the benefits of AI are in their own internal operations. And at the end of the day, even though how much afraid they are with this technology right now being used in the market, they're also afraid of not of losing market share, of missing the AI race. So it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like two parts of their brain. One is like being afraid, but the other one they're kind of like there's this FOMO, like fear of missing out, and they don't want to be in that boat. So it's a very careful thread. We're trying to approach it very very carefully, very respectfully, but at the same time we're very optimistic of what all this technology can bring and change into the entire collection industry in the Philippines.
Thanks a lot. I see your point. For instance, our machine learning algorithm, GiniMachine AI, exemplifies the power of AI in transforming that collection, answering one of the questions we received right away in our chat. So our attendees would like to get more information on how fintech companies internally handle the delinquencies before referring the loans to an external collection agencies. In other terms, what is the ideal practice to handle the portfolio at each stage and bucket? I would say that before, for sure, we should analyze this portfolio, right? With the help of AI, you can do segmentation in your loan portfolio just to understand whether you should to do any specific segmentation of your debtors, right? And how it's better to approach each group of the debtors afterwards using the method of strategizing at this current stage. For example, Genie Machine processes data on borrowers and debtors, turning this information into valuable insights for data-driven decision making. It's a good add-on to your decision intelligence practices. We understand it based on talks and based on our clients' experience. For example, creditors are using AI to model potential risks, like the likelihood of a loan defaulting or repayments becoming delinquent. And this is the fact that debt collection is not only about the post factum stage, right? Accounting, when you already have to face the fact that the loan repayment was missed, right? It's also about pre-preparation stage before disbursing the loan. If you're a lender, right? you should really take care of the risks you are taking. You should really put much attention to how you analyze your borrowers, and to reduce the number of non-performing loans in the future. The fact that AI can really contribute to the process of assessing the borrowers at the underwriting stage. Uh, this is the really important fact, really known famed fact. And for instance, just to understand how deeply AI is already inside the markets, I will tell you the example in the Philippines. Perhaps you've heard that the Union Bank of the Philippines began employing AI-based credit scoring using alternative data for assessing unbanked borrowers. This approach identifies the potential of a borrower defaulting already at the underwriting stage, allowing for a more informed lending decision when doing inclusive financing. And this is the fact confirmed by the real practice. Collection agencies are also harnessing AI to develop delicate strategies tailored to each category of borrowers. This personalized approach ensures more effective and empathetic collection practices. This is what you were talking about, Ian,
Yeah.
telling us that your collection approach should be really delicate, should be really respectful, right? Because when doing collection for your customer, you should take this responsibility to take care of reputation of your customer too, right? Not only of your own company. Following the above, Ian, from your experience, what specific AI technologies or tools are being employed to enhance that collection processes and third-party collection agencies and financial institutions?
Okay, thank you for that question. We employ a range of AI technologies at SP Madrid, such as predictive analytics and machine learning algorithms. These tools are very vital in our no cure, no pay operations. So it helps us in the likelihood of recovery and optimize our resource allocation. We are also using AI to minimize the financial risk associated with this model while maximizing the recovery rates.
Thanks. It feels like SP Madrid leverages a really inclusive approach in that collection to help your customers with that recovery. I do remember a very good case of AI, a prime case study of one of our clients, a debt buyer in North Asia. AI has been a game changer for them, helping to define effective collection strategies, score debt portfolios before acquisition, forecast collection repayments, and enhance ROI. So, additionally, AI has enabled them to segment debtors for personalized recovery strategies. This technology has streamlined their onboarding process, reducing train time for employees to just 1 hour, significantly accelerating the transition to automated debt collection. So AI is really inside that collection now. And the fact that we are talking about this AI in the business of a third-party collection agency, specifically in SP Madrid, just confirms that, right? And states this again, that AI really impacts our world as of now, our businesses. Um, by the way, Ian, we've got a question. It's for you, I guess. An increasing
Okay.
number of financial companies are adopting artificial intelligence, supporting the view that the future belongs to those who have tamed artificial intelligence. In your opinion, is it so important for a modern financial company to be able to work with artificial intelligence? And why do you think so?
Well, currently, the challenge of working with artificial intelligence. Oh, I'm sorry, Renata. I kind of missed the last part. Can you repeat it again?
Sure, sure. So, in your opinion, is it so important for a modern financial company to be able to work with artificial
Oh,
intelligence?
okay.
And
Okay.
why do you think so?
Um, Hang on a second. Well, currently in the Philippines, we're working in artificial intelligence. So again, I mean, just to go back to my thoughts. Currently here in the Philippines, we feel the aggressiveness of the entire industry is like everybody wants to get that new market share because the infusion of technology and the challenge of fintech with the regular traditional banks and traditional finances. Um, they're trying to eat up the market share of the incumbents, and then obviously the incumbents doesn't want to be in a space where They're just playing along with the current narrative of the market, where the technology will just replace them later on. So they are producing also their own small products in the market where they can also compete. Now, the entire talk here in the Philippines is basically using technology to create that new product, new loan products in the market. And when we talk about digital finance, fintech, and all this technology, what next comes into mind is artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And artificial intelligence is being used right now. I mean, not necessarily being used, but being explored extensively by different regulators and compliance officers of these different clients. And what's more crucial is basically to have that first prototype of
Mm-hmm.
embedding artificial intelligence mainly into serving their customers first, but
Mm-hmm.
later on using it to their advantage to have a
Mm-hmm.
more complex data set where they
Mm-hmm.
can create a more comprehensive model that is tailor fitted not only to the entire Philippines as a whole, but to create that different segments in the market that they can custom fit that loan product, create a more healthy NPLs in the underserved market, and have AI do most of the hard work of the thinking process of the intelligence work, and the humans are left to just being more creative in terms of being empathetic and creating more ethics into the entire lending and collection space here in the Philippines.
Oh, thank you very much for a very insightful opinion, which is really personal, yet real, right?
Yeah.
I do remember the insights by Casey Kavirkov, which is the first decision intelligence officer in Google. In 2023, at Web Summit in Rio, she told the attendees and audience that, guys, AI is for helping you. AI is not for replacing your jobs.
Yeah,
It's not
I
for
agree.
replacing your future. AI is to help you complete your thinking. Thinking, it's about this routine task, right? Everything you can dedicate to AI can really free up your spare time to dedicate it more to your families, dedicate it more to some complex tasks at work, right? And just to develop your business faster. I do very remember and really remember the first time we met SP Madrid and your team, and we communicated about AI and possibilities of implementing AI in that collection. And I do remember their excitement about everything connected with new technologies. However, you have a really big team of around 2,000 people and employees. I'm sure you don't have enough time for meeting all of them every day, but yet maybe,
Right.
maybe you had this chance to discuss with them their own opinion. How do they feel about AI implementation into their regular tasks?
Um, well, that's a very good question. In fact, at the very start, so I'll share something very personal. So we've been talking about AI for the last 5 years
Mm-hmm,
or more, not really just being an expert, but just being aware of the threat that it poses in our business, in our industry. So at the start, when you get to hear about AI and all the AI topics on YouTube, you also get to become very afraid, right? And in some way, somehow, you get to extend that feeling of being scared to everybody on the workforce. So we've been really looking into the space of AI for quite a long time, and we've been looking for that opportunity to either mature our own skill set of understanding it. That's one, and the other one to have a very strong partner in the AI technology space. So instead of being replaced later on, if that was the thinking, we could ride on to this. We could ride on with this technology with the right partner. And lately, our since understanding more the AI technology and embracing more the value that it brings and the benefits, obviously, it's going to replace the manual repetitive work, which I truly believe even the humans doesn't want to begin with. But the beauty of having AI is that we get to elevate, and this is how we're sharing it with them. So before they're kind of afraid of it's also a threat in their work and the future of our industry. But later on, they kind of understood that there's more work to be done in terms of being just more human and being more empathetic to our clients, cardholders, and having that high human level discussion with even our own collectors who are doing their day-to-day work and being stressful at work. So imagine if we can get to take out our own emotions, just being robotic about how we take care of our own people and also
mm-hmm,
how we communicate with our clients, and we have more enough energy to be more human on both
Mhm.
sides. I feel that the future of collections as a whole with AI is very, very promising.
Thanks a lot. It really sounds like you can make friendship with AI, right? And you should be friend with AI rather than hate this new technology. And it's really the opinion. This is the opinion that I got yesterday about the fact that from one of our trusted and reliable partner in Europe, the fact that AI already entered the market just confirms in a way that this is the future. It's now. It's happening, right? And the only idea and the only maybe probability of damaging your business with AI is about knowing beforehand that AI can benefit your business and not using AI at all in your
I
business,
agree.
right?
I agree.
Having this lost opportunities.
Yes.
So this is the fact that you can't argue with. By the way, we've just got another good question from our listeners to Genie
Okay.
Machine. It's connected with defaults with non-performing loans. And the question sounds in the following way: how does AI help in upgrading that collection for reducing non-performing loans rate? Let me answer. And if you wish, Ian, I will also give you a word
Okay.
to share your opinion with the audience. So I may say that the situation with defaults is pretty serious. Like in the Philippines, where bad loans overdue by over 90 days reached 25 billions US dollars by April this year. That's a huge number, right? And
Yeah.
we understand that, especially bearing in mind the overall population of the country. It really shows why there is a pressing need to upgrade how we collect debts to lower the chances of these loans going bad
Yes.
and having to write them off. Now, and after communication with you, Ian, it seems that solving a problem with non-performing in collection boils down to five key how questions. How to segment debtors for customized debt collection, how to outreach every debtor group without breaking their trust, which is really essential right now,
Yeah.
how to manage your debt portfolio, how to build a predictive collection strategy that decreases the collection cycle, and the last question, how to assess non-performing risks in debt collection to cut operational costs. The right tactic for any collector in this case, whether a first party or a third party or a debt buyer, will be to apply modern technologies in ways that address these questions, these five questions. Anyway, I guess you agree with me that AI benefits both creditors and collectors. Creditors enjoy higher loan recovery rates and lower default risks,
Yeah.
while collectors achieve better performance metrics and rewards. For instance, platforms like GiniMachine, skilled in handling vast collection data, group and segment data in portfolios, and predictive analytics based on payment behavior is irreplaceable for optimal communication methods identification, be it calls, SMS, email, messaging, or using something else, or a mix of all these methods. This AI-driven approach dramatically speeds up strategy development to shorten collection cycle and boost repayment chances.
Yeah. Yeah.
So from the point of non-performing loans rate, which is like a challenge right now in the Philippines market, Ian, what do you think about this?
Well, for us, one key example that we're currently doing is the implementation of AI for predictive modeling. So this is very essential in our entire portfolio assessment in the no cure no pay model. So the entire portfolio assessment, which is very crucial, there's so the approach would be to significantly increase our recovery success rates while managing risk. Because when we talk about success rate and managing risk, it's not only the internal risk that we are working on certain portfolios, but at the same time, whenever we need to accept new portfolios, we also need to assess them at the very, very start because we don't also want to waste the opportunity and time of our clients. So this is where AI driven communication strategies becomes very, very important for the debtor engagement and the crucial role for no cure no pay models effectiveness.
Thanks a lot. Sounds great that AI impacts positively on every corner of your collection business. And as we know, any collection process is preceded by credit scoring. We talked about that a couple of minutes ago. And with the purpose to solve the entire financial cycle, for instance, GiniMachine goes in two versions. And our attendees are asking about credit scoring already in our chat. For instance, GiniMachine goes in two versions as of now: for application scoring, for borrower's evaluation, and collection scoring for automating accounts receivable processes for collectors at all levels. With all of that, AI proactively assesses the potential of each loan application to analyze default risks and enable proactive measures for reducing the conversion into bad debt. This includes offering payment extensions, refinancing options, and loan restructuring, all aimed at managing the loan more effectively and reducing risks. It's possible thanks to data-driven insights and data analysis made by AI. So it just confirms the fact that it's not only about debt collection, right? When creditors, when lenders also implement AI into their businesses, it creates the synergy of preventing default risks already at the stage of doing this underwriting process and assessing the borrower's right. Afterwards, empowering the process of collection, reducing the collection cycle by using AI already at the collection loan servicing stage. Ian, debt collectors globally regularly rely on predictive analytics for identifying and engaging with individuals at risks or defaults, thereby improving debt recovery rates. How is predictive analytics applied at ASPI Madrid now?
Yeah, that's a very good question. AI-powered predictive analytics is very instrumental in identifying all the risk in every account in our no cure no pay operations. So it's all about being proactive and addressing initially all the potential defaults, applying tailored strategies to enhance every recovery chances that we can implement. And this proactive engagement actually is driven by AI insights and the key to our no cure no pay models.
Mm-hmm. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, and thanks very much for your insight, for your answers, Ian. It sounds really like AI-powered predictive analytics is a game changer in how we collect that, right? So we can analyze this data, and answering the question of one of our attendees, that you just upload your data and you train GiniMachine models. You don't need to rely on our models. Initially, GiniMachine goes empty. This is the platform. And the very logic of the solution is that it can be trained and tailored, and the models that will be created and built in GiniMachine will be specifically tailored to your business, specifically tailored to your region, specifically tailored and adjusted to your loan offering, meaning that unlimited number of capabilities is opened by GiniMachine, thanks to the fact that it processes the huge volumes of data, given the insights that for a human being may take not just hours, it may take him weeks, days, months, right? In this fact, GiniMachine really is a friend of every person who is somehow connected with portfolio management, with modeling, with data processing, with data science, and so on. So about predictive analytics, it's all about making the person who owes money feel like they want to pay, not like they're being forced to, right? So this is not only kinder, but also works better when you know data, when you analyze this data about the portfolio and about your debtors, right? You know some behavioral interconnections, patterns, you know some behavioral characteristics of your debtors, right? And you know how to address their issues connected with repaying their debts. Here's another question we received from our audience. How can AI provide predictive analytics? I guess this is the question mostly to GiniMachine. However, Ian, I will give you a word again after the answer, because it seems to me with your experience, you have much to say. So mainly, when we're talking about AI and predictive analytics in AI, thanks to the machine learning component of AI, a lot of data is analyzed to figure out the best way to talk to each person who owes money. The goal is to find strategies that are smart, tailored to each debtor, and most importantly, respectful within legal bounds. This means no harsh tactics, just understanding and effective communication. So the coolest about this approach is that it does two big things. First, it makes people more likely to pay back because they are being approached in the right way. And second, it really saves money because you're not wasting effort and methods that do not work, right? And it keeps the whole process friendly, which is super important. You want to maintain good relationships with customers, even when collecting data. If the standard process of finding the strategy will take you, say, at least a week, right,
Yes.
to doing these things back and forth, to call in, to send an emails, to check on your hypothesis, through analyzing these big volumes of your historical
Yeah.
data is a new oil, is new gold, you may get really insightful understanding of your portfolio and how it's better to approach every segment of your debt portfolio, right? How it's better to communicate with them, and maybe the previous say scenarios, the previous communication channels you used in the past to communicate with your bad debtors, they won't work based on this data analysis. And the better option in the modern century, 21st century, 22nd is upcoming, they are a new generation.
Yeah.
The better option will be just to message them, right? To receive
Yes.
their payback. Just understanding that people are too busy right now, right? The world is so changeable at the moment. So, what do you think about AI and predictive analytics with AI, Ian? How can it
Um,
help?
that's actually a very, very good question. So here's the thing: when we approach the our own collection operations, so one is obviously we want to standardize our operations. But the
Mhm.
problem with having a standardized operations, you get to become more robotic on the very front line. So when the collectors are having this conversation with debtors, they are, if they follow too closely the standardized approach of doing things, they become too robotic, and being too robotic in terms of doing your collections doesn't really produce that well of a result. On the other end, if you on the other end of the extreme, if you make it too freestyle, you give them too much freedom in terms of how to approach collections, it it's basically a recipe for disasters in terms of violating a lot of the regulatory compliances that's being imposed to us. So this is where the promise of predictive analytics and AI comes into the picture, because now more than ever, it's possible to combine the best of both worlds, to create that highly customized experience for every debtor, making it feel that everything is really meant for them, the entire conversation, the entire plans of how we would restructure their payments, how to get them out of their problems. So that's really the beauty that we're trying to achieve. Now having an AI and predictive analytics into the picture, we get to be very highly specific of the entire thing, anywhere from how to approach the clients, knowing their backgrounds, the demographics of the entire conversation. So those are very helpful and essential of creating that successful collections, not only in producing a successful result, but also providing the best possible experience. Because at the end of the day, it's not really just about recovering the not only recovering the debts of the debtors, but also maintaining that well-being, because at the end of the day, we're still representing the brands of our clients. So I feel that's the perfect mix between injecting predictive analytics, artificial intelligence, and having an overall good customer experience for the industry.
Thanks a lot. It smells like debt collection is not about a full automation, right? We're talking about
Yes.
automation plus customization. Still, personalization is required, right? Because every debtor is unique. Every debtor group, every debtor segment is really has its own characteristics, right? That we should take into consideration while outreaching our debtors. We are having so many questions, so I kindly invite you to answer some of them through our chat. Not to make our attendees getting worried. So talking about those questions for startups, how to find appropriate data sets for MVP for a credit scoring system. I should say that the better option will be to address this question already to our team by GiniMachine, and GiniMachine will give you tailored recommendations regarding how to prepare your data sets. Moreover, we have many video guides on our YouTube channel by GiniMachine AI, about how to prepare your perfect data set and why your data is the source of good insights for your future modeling with GiniMachine. So don't worry, we will get back to you
I agree.
through answering this question and giving you good links to prepare your historical data for getting started with GiniMachine. Another question. In your video, I guess talking about video, they are addressing GiniMachine, right? In your video, you show the demo that can receive data sets from the user and give scores. How your system picks its features from the uploaded data sets. I mean, each what if I upload data set that your model is not trained on? This is the fact we discussed a couple of seconds ago. Thanks to the supervised machine learning method, which is the method and technique of AI, Genie Machine analyzes the really huge volume of data. And thanks to the fact that every model you build with Genie Machine is based on your historical data set, means that you are not connected with any pre-trained model. You are not connected with to any specific, say, type of business, right? You just upload your model with preset set of attributes, be it information about your borrowers, information about from traditional resources like credit bureaus, or information from alternative data resources, for example, open banking or payment provider systems, or information from telecom providers, especially when we're talking about inclusive finance, social finance, finance where we may analyze unbanked borrowers, right? Underserved borrowers who don't have enough access to credit scoring. In such cases, alternative data can be a good add-on to a traditional data to build a good predictive model. Saying again, Genie Machine does not provide you with pre-built models. Genie Machine helps you to transform your data into good insights, into good models that will be used to predict defaults, potential of for your applications to get defaulted in the future, and help you to avoid to reduce the number of defaults when we're talking about credit risks and when we're talking about collections, to reduce the collection cycle through finding the better collection strategy for a specific group of debtors, reducing the time for finding the strategies, right? And in increasing the recovery rate in the future and reducing the amount of write-offs that might be received without using AI. Can AI work together with blockchain? Why not? It's the matter of using the right data and integrating the platform. A platform has API, and thanks to no-code AI technology, it might be integrated with different third parties to transform data received from the third parties into valuable insights. And we may talk about this later on once this person, his name is Kirk, will let us know through our contact details that will be shared in the end of our discussion, how he'd like to connect Genie Machine with any blockchain technology. The attendees, we will get back to your questions a bit later. So let's resume our main discussion. No, don't worry. We see all your questions. We will answer them. So, Ian, we stopped with you at
Sure.
the stage of using predictive analytics, right? Which is quite
Yeah.
essential when you'd like to make informed decisions. It goes without saying that machine learning has a big role in making that collection both personal and fair, right? It's about
Yeah.
personalization too.
Yes.
It's really about sticking to the rules like those in the Civil Code of the Philippines and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, which say you can't use unfair or deceptive methods of to collect debts. All around the podcast, I feel that ASPI Madrid really knows the essence of employing AI/ML technologies in third-party collection. Nevertheless, doing business, it's not only about completing tasks. It's also about treating people and managing stakeholders' expectations. Could you share how using AI and machine learning in your business allows convincing your customers to trust you more and stay in the long term with your collection services?
Okay. Well, absolutely. There is a notable shift in the entire collection industry in the Philippines. It's not just about performance anymore. We're even now equally more focused on regulatory compliances. And there's even a lot of
Mhm.
new startups coming up just on the regtech space alone, trying to solve one big headache in the entire regulatory standardization here in the Philippines. So regularly evaluating our adherence to every standards alongside all the performance basis of every agency in this industry. Now, being now infusing compliance into the entire mix, this is actually a long-term perspective, and we are developing new AI-driven quality risk management tools, which basically helps us develop these new QAs, team capabilities in terms of analyzing 100% of all calls made and chat, all calls and chat made, all the recordings, we're analyzing them. Before it was not possible, but because of the power of AI and all the machine learning technologies possible, we can do a consistent risk analysis on all of the recordings that we have. So we aim to enhance the risk experience of our clients, maintaining that standardized quality and making sure that there's no calls or chat made that is outside of the regulated requirements of our clients. So additionally, we're also utilizing conversational AI to foster more strategic and intelligent communication dialogues with all of our borrowers. So the AI assistance helps our agents improve their performance. So this basically shortens the learning
Mhm.
curve. So imagine that the agent, instead of memorizing scripts, and overcoming that emotional. So
Mhm.
whenever they're on the phone and whenever they're live with a client, there are two things running in their head. One would be the surge of emotions, because obviously whenever you're talking to a client, a debtor, it's not a very pleasant conversation. And the other one, you're trying to memorize your script. So the power of AI is basically to reduce the learning curve, because now it's possible to have an AI listening together with you. It's kind of like a barging AI listening to all the conversation. It can do ASR, advanced speech recognition, and obviously the NPL, natural language. Sorry, NLP, natural language processing. I
Mhm.
get to confuse that a lot. NLP and NPL because of our industry.
Yeah.
So it's NLP, natural language processing. So it understands Tagalog, Filipino the main language is Tagalog. So it gets to understand the entire conversation. It's still in the POC stages, but the promise of it is that we have a real time AI assistance for every of our agent. So making sure that they really follow all the conversational flows that's meant to be so for a high effective conversation, and at the same time it shortens the learning curve. It kind of manages their emotions because they don't have to think all the scripts that they might be missing out. So this approach ensures that we not only deliver results, but we also build a long-term relationship and trust with our clients.
Thanks a lot, Ian. That's a good piece of advice, I guess, for every third party collector who aims to stay competitive in the industry, especially when you run a company where you have both men and women, right? Because as practice
Yes.
shows, women, fortunately or unfortunately, we don't know for sure, there is no common opinion around this. Women are really emotional, right? And
Yes.
if your female employee calls to your debtor, and debtor is just joking that I'm dying, I don't have any money to pay you, right? And she just started crying, right?
Yeah.
Because she's so empathetic, right? Because she's a woman, and she just tries to help him and saying that, oh, you don't need to pay in this case, you're dying, maybe I should also collect money, or let me pay for you, right? AI is
Yeah.
about controlling this emotional intelligence too, right? About controlling the behavioral patterns into new insights. When if it's not this is not the first time when you contact this person, right, and this person is telling you that he's dying, maybe something is wrong with this person, right, and he's really joking, right, just not to pay you, and understanding that you're just a collector, you're just third party who won't do anything to him, right, and he cannot to pay you, right, at all. So
Yeah.
it's all AI is also it's about controlling our emotions and allowing us to make really informed decisions, right, data-driven decisions.
That's correct.
Not to make our attendees get nervous, let's answer some questions.
Sure.
Let me
Sure.
answer the most alarmed one I can say. Ahmed, I got your email. I promised you in front of the audience and in front of all the attendees, we will get in touch with you using all our channels, messengers, social web links, email that you shared with us. Thank you a lot. We will get in touch with you to assist you appropriately and to help you not to get missed around AI and machine learning and other connected services that provided by our mother company. Yeah, you're very welcome and have a great day. Answering some other questions from our attendees. Yes, Ahmed, we are answering the questions. Thanks a lot for for disturbing our chat again and for informing us about the fact that we are not alone with Ian today. What is the nature of data you feed into the AI system? How does it help? It's your historical data. Nature might be different. Application cases for AI, they are really various. It's about credit scoring. It's about predicting churn rate. It's about doing your relationship banking, communicating with your customers, and doing your cross selling and upselling. So the nature of your data will definitely depend on the prediction case you have, classification case, right? How you'd like a model to help you classify your future applications that you will send to GeniMachine, right? Whether you'd like to predict a potential churn rate from your database, or whether you'd like to understand how it's better to upsell or cross-sell specific loan products or financial products, right? Or get connected with that collection, how it's better to approach your customers, whether it's better to call them, whether it's better to send SMS to them, right? In order to get these answers from GeniMachine, first you need to feed historical information about how those interactions happened in the past, right? Just show GeniMachine some information about your past communication with your customers, some profile of your customers, right? Their age, maybe their payment behavior, information about their say marital status, financial income, and so on. So I guess, and it's better to say that there is no universal rule on how on what kind of information you should include. The better option to take the data you have and try to transform this data into insights through uploading this raw data to GeniMachine, because GeniMachine easily is raw data, structured and labeled raw data, and through this history that you show through, that you demonstrate through those data sets you upload to GeniMachine, you receive a good model that will also go together with valuation metrics such as Gini index or some others. They will be fully calculated automatically just to let you know whether you may trust this model, right? And whether your data set is enough to get a good, a well-performed model that might be used in the future. Another question about the age. We answered profession, age, marital status, anything. If you'd like to get our answers or get our assistance regarding data preparation, feel free to address us your questions. The contact details will be shown afterwards at the end of our podcast, plus will be sent in our wrap-up email to all the registrants of this podcast. How model works in hard collection: 90 DPD plus 180 DPD plus. Is approach differs with soft collection, or it is the same? This is a good question, by the way, Ian, to you, because it's not only about AI, right?
Yeah.
It's also about approaching debtors and doing this personalization. So would you answer this question?
Okay. Well, there's so many ways I want to answer that question, but to answer it, well, in the context of the entire conversation, definitely hard collections is different from soft collections. Soft collections is more transactional. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
lot of repetitive work, in a way, robotic work, and can easily be later on replaced by AI. For hard collections, there's a lot of persuasion skills needed for every collector on that front. And at the same time, from for us here in the Philippines, it's not only one type of pillar that we're working on. It's not only the phone collectors that's working very hard to recover that debt, but it's also hand in hand being worked upon by the phone collector, field collector, the ones who are in motorcycle and vehicles, and the last one would be the legal collectors. So there are so many dynamics here in the Philippines the way we do collection solutions for our clients, and it's not only a one type of solution approach for all of them. Uh, just to mention it out, we have more than 300 campaigns here. 300 campaigns, not necessarily it means 300 banks, but some banks have different products, different levels. They have so many products and levels and campaigns that we have to segmentize them separately because they all have their own separate targets. Now, going back to that discussion, for each type of campaign of the 300, you can't imagine the solution, the custom fit solution that we have to put into it. And the entire hard collections, just to give you a little bit of figure, on the average, it's just like 5 to 10% contact rate. So the entire work is being done not on the actual negotiation side, but also on
Mhm.
the skip tracing side. So skip tracing is kind of like the detective work that you have to look for the client, because most of the very nature of this business is like a lot of Leonardo DiCaprio, like the Catch Me If You Can. So there's a lot of that. Well, it's mainly that's really mainly the brunt of the work, the volume of the work. And talking about hard collections again, there's this very to put it back into context, that 5%, 10% is a very crucial opportunity that we get
Mhm.
month on month, day to day,
Mhm.
week on week, month on month. And we and going back to AI and having technology to replace and automating
Mhm.
some of the manual work,
Mhm.
I totally agree. But at the same time, I'm highly philosophical of really pushing the extent of having people putting so much love and passion into their work in terms of recovery of that of our portfolios,
Mhm.
of our accounts, of the tickets that we're handling, making sure that whatever AI and predictive analytics would be copying and trying to automate in the
Mhm.
future is really the perfect example of a highly passionate human
Mhm.
into the work. So having that 5%, 10% opportunity in our contact rate, it's very hard to transition from doing a lot of manual, hard labor, and passionate work, and then infusing automations, and all of a sudden you would think that you would get the same result by just automating everything and replacing the love and passion of every person. Now, when it comes to scale, that is like the perfect opportunity and intertwining the two, and it's not like an overnight process. So I truly believe that in every technology, it's not only a one-time, 1 week, 1 month acquisition, but it's like a long-term lifetime partnership with the
Mhm.
right tech companies that would be part of the entire growth of our business and hopefully the entire industry in general.
Thanks a lot. It smells like it really helps to work with different group of debtors and applying and in order to apply different collection tactics, right? Be it soft strategies, be it hard strategies. First, you just can use this understanding of AI to transform your data into potential portfolio segmentation, right? Understanding which group of debtors might be already say sent to our hard strategy team or soft strategy team, right, to approach accordingly.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. We're receiving new questions on our chat. So what are your thoughts on the application of this, I guess by this they mean AI for collection, or AI, or specifically in private and wealth management? Customer volume seems to be a significant factor in the context of dealing with high net worth. It's a significantly smaller group. I will answer in the following way. Genie Machine is already applicable for predicting the prices and the potential in the stock market. So why not to apply AI for private and wealth management? Feel free to upload your data using our free trial, experiment with your data and get those insights for understanding whether it's applicable specifically for your case, because we know that supervised machine learning performs better when we have enough volume of data. And in this context, answering another question by our attendee, follow up on the private wealth management question. Would this also be applicable now to credit funds where the portfolio of assets would be under 100? If it's about 100 unique historical records, you should try, I may say, because we always recommend to have at least 1,000 historical records to transform your data into model. However, there is a good real practice and use case with one of our existing customers, a motorcycle lender in the Philippines, who started with their loan portfolio of not more than 100 historical records, and they built a model within a year. Just they really grew up their models performance wise, because as long as they went in their business, they just added new historical data. So feel free to try, bearing in mind that it costs nothing to start and to experiment with Genie Machine. This is the better answer, I guess. Ian, I have a really personal question to you, if you
Sure,
don't
sure.
mind.
Go
I
ahead.
know that you're not only a good businessman, a wise leader, but you're also a father. You have your own family, and this is the family. You're a father of. This is the family of many, right?
Yes.
How many
I have.
children do you have?
I have. Well, you might want to try guessing first.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, what I saw on social media, it's about four. Four children.
It's five actually.
Five.
Five.
Okay.
So four boys. Then eventually I got a girl during the pandemic time.
Uh-huh.
So it's
Okay.
four boys and a girl. So it's five in total.
Sounds
Baby girl.
impressive and confirms again that it's reality to combine work and life balance. Really having
Yeah,
a big
that's true.
family.
That's true.
I guess you have a really wise wife behind your back, and you have a really good family behind your back too.
Yes, I
Talking
do.
about those generations, your family is quite supporting. However, there are a couple of generations in this family, right? The very
Yes.
new generation is your children. How do they feel about AI? And maybe there are some funny stories that you can elaborate on from your family regarding the attitude of your children towards AI and these new technologies.
That's actually a very interesting question because well the range of the ages of my kids are anywhere from having a 2 year old all the way to having a 20-year old in the household. So I got married at a very young age, and I got a baby at a very late age in my career. Well, not so old, but so I have a 20-year old and a 2 year old. So that's like an 18-year difference for my eldest son, who's taking up computer science. So we actually
Mm-hmm.
talk about technology a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times. And even for me, so basically, I'm really passionate about technology, all the new technologies that's coming up. So he really
Mm-hmm.
grew up in a household where we are always talking about technologies, technologies that we can play on. And in a lot of cases, they see me watching on YouTube a lot of new technologies that's coming up, and they're also
Mm-hmm.
exposed to it. For the so to answer your question, for my kids who are somewhere in the middle, they know about AI just by simply it's easier to do their assignments.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Okay.
kind of so it's a positive experience for them. So it's kind of like a joke right now, but I feel everyone's adapting.
Yeah.
And at the same time, when it first came out, I mean, AI has been there for quite some time, but when ChatGPT came out, it became mainstream. So at the onset, everybody was just marveling about it, right? But at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, people are also afraid, a lot are gonna change. But somewhere along the way, it kind of tapered down and
Mm-hmm.
find its natural levels in terms of how the market is looking at it, and where we are right now in terms of how we're actually seeing the future. For me personally, I'm just very blessed that I have this kind of attitude and mindset of really exploring all the technologies, particularly about AI. So I guess it's not really a scary thing for me and my family because
Mm-hmm.
for me, they're just resonating on my own feelings as well, that I'm very comfortable with technology. On the other hand, with my eldest son, I'm actually pushing him to be part of our tech team. So he's kind of like very busy with
Wow.
college studies, but at the same time, all the devs and in-house team that was doing R&D on artificial intelligence, creating data sets, creating new concepts, and understanding the technology more, and how we would use it in our own operations. I want my eldest son to be more involved into it. So I guess it's kind of like that healthy feeling of really, because once you fully understand it, it's not a threat anymore. It's just like basically more liberating and freeing. And whenever you see all the negative views about I mean, there's still the movies, right? The Skynet,
Yes.
Terminator, and that's the movie that we kind of grew up. But the more you get to understand it, the more you are also envisioning a better future. So for me, my kids and my family, I'd tell you that they're enjoying it from a point of view of doing their assignment. And my eldest son and I are really enjoying exploring together also on what we can do together as he becomes older.
So AI is joining different generations, right? Through this capacity of showing different angles of our world and
Hello,
different
Renata.
applications. Can you hear me? One, two, three, five, four. Can you hear me, Ian? Ian, can you hear me? Dear attendees, could you type in the chat whether you can hear me? Just to understand what's wrong with the connection and on which side. Okay, super. Ian, it seems to me that there is something with the connection on your side. Can you hear us? We cannot hear you, Ian.
Okay, hang
Again.
on.
Uh-huh. Super. Ian got lost, right? Let's wait for Ian. It's not a big problem, to be honest. Just to make it more funny in terms of closing our discussion because it's coming to the end. I had a really fantastic story because we know that after this COVID-19, every person, every employee became really close. Ian, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear
Oh,
you. Sorry about
super.
that.
Yep. So everything is
Was I
fine.
able
Well,
to complete the answer? Was I
yep.
able to
Everything.
complete what I was
Yes,
saying?
yes, you
Okay.
absolutely answered correctly, and thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for contributing. This is not the final thought. I'm just trying
Right.
to tell the really funny story. After this COVID-19, it was a fantastic situation. Understanding the fact that we can be closer to our families, working remotely, right? And I'm sure that you enjoyed.
Yes.
I hope you enjoyed your time with all your
No, we
five
did. We did.
kids working in house. Anyway, it was a story connected with one of our African partner. There was a lady representing a C-level of our potential customer. Lady was working from home and working from home with her little baby, a daughter, around 3 or 4 years old. She's really talkative, communicable, wanted to communicate, I may say so. And she joined us. She just came behind, showing it, hello, I'm here, right? And the lady just was telling that Rinat, I can't do anything with this. She's really young to understand it. So let her be with us. And I'm absolutely okay about this, right? Because this is the really new generation, and maybe this new generation, the future belongs to this new generation, right? And maybe this is a very good chance to show something and to discuss with this new generation, even though it's just 3 or 5 years old, right? And we were talking about this AI and things connected with credit scoring with AI. And this daughter asked her, "Mommy, what are you talking about? What this AI means? I don't understand you. You're spending so much time at work, right?" And when we tried to explain to her what AI can do for her mom, she said the following: "Mommy, does it mean that you will dedicate more time to me because AI will help you to free up your time?" And she said, "Yes, honey." She embraced her, kissed her, and this was a good note to complete the discussion afterwards. And I fully understand hypothetically how a child can be connected to their family, right? And the fact that AI can really contribute not only your work but also can positively affect your personal life. This is this is a very impressive fact. So the, this podcast, Ian, is coming to the end, and I see the words of appreciation by our attendees. The floor is yours, Ian, to share your final thoughts or funny moments from your collection business, or simply wish something to our attendees, understanding this is the upcoming holiday season.
Yeah, for the funny moments, definitely there's a lot. But for now, I'd like to really thank you, Renata, and the entire podcast team for really being professional in terms of organizing this, setting this up. Even from my side, I'd like to. It's really an absolute like giving all the praises to you guys. It's not only Jay, but also several people from my side who's been really very deep into the preparation of this event. It's actually very fascinating. So it's actually very fascinating to reflect, while reflecting in our entire conversation, that despite all the differences in our backgrounds, countries, and cultures, there's so much that we have in common in terms of discussing finance, collections, and even the use of technology to address the future challenges of the entire space, not only in collections, but from loan origination, loan management to loan recovery. Even for me and my team, we always talk about it every day, like how to solve it, how to make it better, and in fact to really, in a way, brag it. I have a team that's really excited every day coming to work, very passionate because they're not seeing work, they're just very passionate, and they're highly stimulated in terms of creating so many Lego pieces to put together to solve the entire industry. And we've gotten so much appreciation as well from our partners, clients, and even our borrowers, customers. That's really appreciating the way we do new age collections for our industry. And I feel that what we've developed here in the Philippines feels quite special, and hopefully with the right opportunities, the right partners. We believe our team and processes are very well prepared to compete effectively in improving debt collections, not just here in the Philippines, but also on an international level. So just to mention, we're going to Singapore and Dubai, but we're still a very small team there. And I hope this podcast serves as the beginning of a lasting relationship between SP Madrid and GiniMachine, between Ian and Renata, and potentially collaborating to shape the future of finance together.
Absolutely, absolutely agree with you, Ian, and thanks a lot for this very priceless discussion. Thanks a million for your valuable time. We know that time is money for any business, and we hope that this hour that you dedicated and our attendees dedicated to this discussion will bring a good, a high return on investment in the future. It was a really fantastic hour, I guess, of great, full of great insights from subject matter experts. We hope that our audience enjoyed the podcast. Yet don't worry, if some of you didn't manage to listen to us today, we will share the audio recording soon. If you are further interested in AI for that collection, or your lending company is in need of a professional collection service, stay tuned. The contact details are on the screen right now. Plus, we will send the wrap up emails after the podcast with the contact details of our speakers to get in touch with them. So now we wish all of you to have a good day ahead, blissful holidays, upcoming holidays, and promise to speak online soon again. Stay AI connected, and bye bye.
Bye. Thanks, Renata. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot.